I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information to get at the truth. Having
no
a
regrets.
friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have. And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do, is move forward. If individuals are not involved in illegal activity, extending his criminal enterprise or his financial enterprise or all of those things, I think that we need to look at what people are doing moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that. What is that point? Because at the time he was a known sex offender and it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes, and as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can.
Yo, so I did not think it could get worse, bro. Like, real talk. I thought we hit rock bottom already. I thought the basement had a basement and we already chilling with the mold and the rats down there. But nah, they pulled a sledgehammer and said, let's see what's under this foundation, because this whole situation with this Democrat representative, Stacey Plaskett from the Virginia Islands, it's actually mind blowing, because this lady was out here texting Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, that Epstein. The one we all universally agreed is a cartoon level villain, like if Satan and Wall Street had a baby. And she was just justifying it like, he was a constituent. He was my constituent. Let me quote. Like, fam, constituent? Are you serious? Like, that's like saying you were just grabbing a drink with Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy, he lived in your district. That ain't a defense. That's a confession. You move reckless. Then it gets even worse because she gets on CNN, as you guys just seen. Not some Fox hit piece, not some blog. CNN, the network that usually bends over backwards for Democrats. And they had the cameras on her face. And she really said, and I quote, a lot of people do crimes. Bro, what? You ever hear someone say something so dumb that your brain got a buffer for a second? And that's like if you got caught stealing from Target and told the judge, come on, man, people shoplift every day. That don't make it okay. That's not a legal defense. That's a TikTok comment. And the wild part is she's talking about this in the context of child trafficking. Not tax evasion, not jaywalking. We are talking about some of the most disgusting crimes possible. And her big defense is, yeah, but people be doing stuff. What are we even doing, bro? But here's where it hits crazy levels of irony. Remember how the entire left side of the political aisle has been going full scorched earth mode anytime a Republican even looked in the general direction of someone Epstein adjacent? Like, if you sneezed in the same city as Epstein's pilot, it was over for you. Like, they were dragging everybody. Oh, this guy had dinner with someone who used to work for someone who was on a plane once. Throw the whole career away. But then it turns out their own people, the Democrats, not the Republicans they always trying to come after. Like in my example I just said, when it turns into their own people, we straight up texting the man after he was already outed, convicted, and marked as the creep of the century. And now it's crickets or some JD mind trick excuse. Like, oh, we must move forward. Nah, fam. We need to move through this, not around it. Accountability don't get skipped just because it's uncomfortable for your team. And bro, CNN looked shocked. You guys seen in the clip? The anchor was literally sitting there with that face like someone just farted in the middle of a funeral. Even they couldn't spin it. She was trying to clarify, like, hold up, are you seriously saying it's fine to text a registered sex offender who trafficked children because you wanted information? And the rep was just like, well, yeah. You know, prosecutors do it all the time. Girl, you're not in a courtroom gathering leads from mob snitches. You are a congresswoman texting a convicted predator like it's like a business lunch or something. This ain't a movie script. This is the real world. You don't get to wear the I Fight for Justice cape while you out here acting like it's normal to treat Epstein like a reliable source. Okay? And at the end of the day, these politicians, we all know that when it comes to them getting endorsements and funding their campaigns, because when it comes to someone like Jeffrey Epstein, as we know that is wealthy, these politicians, you can see the DNC, when it comes to them, they don't care as long as they get the funds they want to oust and go after any political opponent that they want to stay in power. And we know that, right? Because they came at Donald Trump in every way, shape, or form just because he emailed Jeffrey Epstein to hold him accountable for the business that Jeffrey Epstein was conducting in his hotel. And Donald Trump said, no, we're not having that. But they took that information with the emails and selectively picked certain things out of the files to paint Donald Trump a certain way. But you guys can sit there and take money from a criminal. Because look, from a political standpoint, we all know that the Democratic Party, they don't care where the money come from as long as they getting the money to prop up themselves. When it comes to their campaign fundraisers, when it comes to them putting themselves out there, no matter if it's legal or illegal, and they come at Donald Trump every way, shape, or form. And I pray for Donald Trump because he's doing the God's work. National security, protecting Americans, not letting illegals come over here, saturating the housing market. Because think about it. When you go to a store and it's a limited edition or it's a limited amount of stock of your favorite item because it's a shortage, the price of that item that you usually get goes up, right? Let's say you get coffee creamer. Your favorite coffee creamer company is having a shortage, like coffee meat. Let's just go with coffee meat, right? Hazelnut, right? And they're having a shortage, so they only have like 2 or 3 on the shelf. The company could say, oh, we're going to jack up the prices because we have a shortage and production in making hazelnut coffee. So Coffee Mate is saying instead of $12, we're going to make it $20. So they're trying to make sure that they get the same amount of funds in return and they stay in the green by jacking up the prices so they don't go in the negative. Because if they continue to charge the original price for $12, they won't make as much. But if they jack it up to $20, it can justify the cost is justified because they have a shortage, but they're still trying to make profits, right? So what happens is with these Democrat individuals, the hypocrites who say that they're working for the working class people and helping the working class people and fighting affordability to the most high. The thing is, if you have illegals saturating and taking over the housing market, taking it away from American taxpayers, because these illegals don't pay taxes or put into the system to fund these programs that we know that these Democrats like to funnel monies through to prop themselves up, illegal or illegally, because they want kickbacks. As long as they get some money out of the pot, they don't care. They don't care if it's disrespectful to the taxpayer. That's why this woman, Stacey Plaskett, is up here speaking so loosely about, um, we must move forward. What happened on operating in the best interest of the American people? But now we must move forward because we know that Jeffrey Epstein helped fund her campaign. If I'm not correct, correct me for the possibility of being wrong. But when it comes to endorsing, it can be publicly or it can be not publicly, because some wealthy individuals would rather endorse the campaign but not be visible about it. So that Stacey Plaskett, her constituent being Jeffrey Epstein, give her some money and say, hey, look, I want to give you a gift to endorse your campaign. And I want to give you $1 million, but don't say I gave it to you. So on the back burner, Jeffrey Epstein can have a politician in his pocket who was once a prosecutor, which is even worse, right? So that's what these Democrat individuals do because they care about propping themselves up in power. And now you have them even using the illegals to stay in power with healthcare subsidies. And in the midst of those healthcare programs, they can get money on the back end when it comes to big pharma and so forth, and even the housing market, because they're preying on the poor people and individuals who come over here to America, which are illegals, who want a better life, even though they're not doing it the right way out of respect for our country, the United States, and also Americans who pay taxes, because they don't pay taxes, but they don't care. So Americans are suffering, and the housing market is way out of the affordability and costing more because any American that can get their hands on a house to rent or a place to rent or a house to get a mortgage on is going to cost 10 times more because we got illegals taking it over because it's limited stock in the housing market. The same way it goes back to my example of being limited stock when it comes to that coffee mate coffee creamer. So I just wanted to put that out there, family, because as always, we just having a conversation. And then, because we're not done yet, I want to get to Hakeem Jeffries. Check this out.
For being here, obviously a lot of movement up on Capitol Hill today. And you heard Stacey Plaskett there. She was arguing her texts with Jeffrey Epstein were not illegal. But in your view, were they appropriate?
Well, Stacey Plaskett is not accused of violating any House rule, any law, any statute, and she's clearly and unequivocally denounced Jeffrey Epstein. And I think what the survivors fought for today is the type of transparency that came out of the House, went through the Senate, and is now on its way to Donald Trump's desk, where hopefully he'll sign it into law. Because at the end of the day, all the American people are asking for is just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, which is why these Epstein files that Donald Trump and his administration has been hiding for months need to be released.
But do you think it was appropriate for her to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein 11 years after he pleaded guilty?
I mean, I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett to discuss this issue because we've been focused today on making sure that there was a decisive vote as it related to the Epstein files and the release. I'm thankful for the work of Representative Massey, of Ro Khanna, but most importantly, the survivors.
Do you plan to talk to her about it?
I think that we successfully defeated a resolution that lacked any basis, was not credible, and was being brought by an individual who was trying to weaponize this issue to reinvigorate his own failed gubernatorial campaign in South Carolina. It was rejected on a bipartisan basis on the floor today. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, I was just asking if you personally believe messaging with Jeffrey Epstein, who is at that point a registered.
Well, there you have it, folks. Hakeem Jeffries enters, right? And CNN turns around and goes, okay, since you're out here defending this madness, let's ask you, was that appropriate? And Hakeem does the Olympic backpedal running into the Victim Olympics nonsense. Man said she didn't break any laws. That's the bar now. That's the standard. She ain't break a law, so we just chilling. That's like your homie telling you he cheated on his girl, but technically it wasn't illegal. Bro, that's not the point. It's about ethics. It's about character. It's about what you represent when you get on TV talking about and talk about protecting children, right? You can't say you stand with survivors and then pulled out the no laws were broken card when your people are caught up in the mess. That's what you say when you get caught slipping but still want to keep your job. And the whole time Jeffries is trying to redirect like a magician. Oh, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on Trump hiding the Epstein files. Oh, so now it's about Trump. Again, nah. We're not letting y'all use Trump as a fire extinguisher every time your own house catches flames, Hakeem Jeffries. Y'all scream for transparency, justice for truth, the whole truth. But now that the truth is ugly and wearing a blue tie, as you guys can see on the screen, suddenly it's, well, we're not going to talk about that. The hypocrisy is so loud. I need earplugs. You can't demand that the whole country flip upside down over Trump's alleged ties to Epstein and then shrug when your own folks were texting the man and accepting fundraiser invites. That's not politics anymore. That's gaslighting on a national scale. And this is why people don't trust politicians. This right here, it's not about protecting kids or justice or truth. It's about power and optics and who can get away with what when the lights are off. And it's like they treat morality like a costume and they wear it when the cameras are on and toss it in the closet when the questions get hard. If you're going to act like Epstein was the devil, and let's be clear, he was real life evil, then that energy needs to stay consistent no matter who team got caught texting him. This ain't a left or right thing. This ain't a right or wrong thing. Right? You don't get to change the rules because your jersey is a different color. Bottom line, You don't get to play a high moral ground or moral high ground when you got skeletons doing the cha-cha in your closet. If you're out here saying people do crimes, like you're talking about speeding tickets while brushing off associations with a man who ran a whole underage trafficking operation. You are not fit to be making decisions on behalf of the people. And this ain't a PR mistake. This is a full-on character reveal. And if CNN of all networks is sitting there going, yeah, this don't sit right, then I promise you, the iceberg is a lot bigger than what's poking above the water. And we're watching hypocrisy in 4K, folks. And the spin machine is out of order. And this is why people are tired. This is why faith in institutions is collapsing. Because every time we think it can't get worse, someone pours a shovel and says, challenge accepted. But guess what? We are watching. The American people are watching. And we ain't stupid. And we don't play nice with when the truth smells like sewage and everyone's pretending it's roses. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I find this unacceptable, ridiculous, and should not be tolerated in any way, shape, or form on behalf of the American people, also the taxpayer. And that's my spiel on this whole thing. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I think that Hakeem Jeffries needs to go. I think Stacey Plaskett needs to go. They are part of the corrupt waters of the waters that is poison, and they're only going to poison the well more if these individuals stay in office. They want to talk about impeaching Trump, but to be honest, they are the individuals that need to be impeached, if you tell me. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. On that note, family, stay blessed, stay positive. Let the love supersede the hate. Thank you for rocking with me. See you in the next one. Peace. Love you.